Hey everyone, good morning, good afternoon, good night. Wherever you are, I hope that it's peaceful and that you're feeling loved today. If you're not feeling loved, you are very much loved by me. Basically, I just kind of want to cut to the chase and talk to you guys more about my minimalism process, things that I think of, that may trigger something in you to either start the minimalism process or pause the minimalism process and ask yourself some questions. But hopefully either way, I don't waste your guys' time and that I am bringing something to the table for you guys. So let's get to it. So the first question I ask myself is, what is a healthy lifestyle? If I were taking the best care of myself, what would I envision that to be? What do I want out of this life? Like, what is it? I can say superficial things and, say I want a great body, but no, instead I want to feel healthy. I just want to feel healthy. I want to take care of myself. I want to love myself because there's multiple years where I abused my body and didn't take care of it and didn't accept it for what it was. And now that I'm finding like peace within and everything, all of that stuff is like aligning up so much better that I'm doing the best that I can with the opportunities that I am given to take care of my body. And with that, I'm pretty proud of myself for that. The next thing that I have to do before I touch any of my stuff is to mentally get prepared. And with that being said, it could be different for you than it is for me. I really have to be in the right mindset. I have to either meditate or be in a peaceful mode where I'm feeling loved, I'm not feeling like I'm judging myself. Acceptance and understanding and loving not only the things around me but myself as well. That is the best time, I feel like, to declutter and just not rushing through it. I've been known to do that, but actually taking your time and going through each item and really thinking, like, when is the last time that I used this item? What am I going to use this item for? And is it going to serve a purpose in my life or the lifestyle that I want, I'm trying to achieve? If the answer is maybe one day or no, then it's probably time to get rid of it. Now, don't beat yourself up if you're not ready to let go of something. There is no end to minimalism. It is a lifestyle. It is a choice. And it is your own. You don't have to fit into a certain box to be a minimalist. Whatever anybody else tells you, this is your life. You can call yourself whatever you want. If you're not ready to get rid of something, you can always cycle around, because it's a full cycle of things. You have to constantly be thinking about what you want to bring in your life, what you want to get out of your life, where you want your life to be. You're constantly changing. And it's important to just kind of reevaluate so you don't lose yourself in the process of this busy life. So if you're not ready to get rid of something, don't pressure yourself to get rid of it too early. You really need to be mentally prepared to be away from that item. If it's something that you're ready to get rid of, but you know that you're going to miss like smelling it or looking at it or reminiscing over it, take a picture or write down what it smells like to you. What memory does it bring back for you? Any kind of minimalization of an item is always good if you're not getting use or any kind of purpose out of it. It's probably best to not be in your life. It's taking up space, and with space being taken up, it's taking up not necessarily negative, but majority of the time it's taking up energy that you could be using towards something else. Okay, the next thing is, what are the core items that you need to have in your life to live this life that you want? Basic hygiene essentials, like what do you use? What is something that you have to use to make yourself feel good about yourself? The original toothpaste, shampoo, a razor. I love to feel like my legs are shaved and I just like it feeling smooth, and things that I enjoy are pampering myself whenever I have that time. And those are core things that make me feel beautiful, something that I have to have in my life. And not necessarily have to have, but things that I truly want in my life. Like, what are the core things that I'm going to spend my time on? And this is always the most important one to me, is how can I find that satisfaction, that peace, that love from within. I feel like if you don't have that and you're always bashing yourself and you're not your own best friend, that really you're missing out on a great person in your life, and that person is you. You know yourself better than anybody else. We only get this one life to live, and this one body, and this one mind. So make the most of it and love the things that you don't love about yourself. It takes time. Don't bash yourself if you mess up or if you're not behaving in a certain way. All you can do is try to catch yourself and move on from that and try to just love yourself through it. That's the only thing I can really tell you 100% for certain, that on any path that you need to go on, the decision is always yours. And I hope with that you find peace and love whichever direction, and that you're making a decision based on your life and not anybody else's negative thoughts that are in your brain or anything that you're telling yourself, because we are our toughest critics, and half the stuff that you're telling yourself you shouldn't believe. What are negative triggers? For me, it would probably be online, like browsing stuff online. I like to make a list of items that I would like to have someday, or things that I would like to bring into my life. But before I just go and shop online, I allow myself time to really think about that item, and it's almost like a reward for me. If I am able to get rid of or declutter a room, I will allow myself to get one of the things, even if it's small, even like if it's, a pair of $6 sunglasses, or some leggings, or whatever the case may be that you have written down on there. I have things from really inexpensive to a little bit more pricey. Nothing really over $200 is what I would say. But make sure it's the investment that you want to bring in your life. Like, do your research and really think about if you want that to take up space in your environment. Is it going to be a negative trigger for you? The computer is a negative trigger for me. Not the whole thing, but basically browsing online and searching for things. That I have to have a lot of self-control over, because if I'm not careful, I will find myself putting things in my cart, and sometimes I'll abandon the cart, or other times I'll go ahead and make that purchase because I can talk myself into thinking that I truly need that item, and before you know it, it's here at the door. You forgot that you paid for it, and you're excited for maybe a day, and you don't really pay attention to the item again. So not only did you waste your time, but you wasted your money when you could have been doing something else that you truly love. Nothing that costs money. It's an experience, possibly that you were wanting to obtain. And I know for me, whenever I'm in that mindset, that usually something internally is off. I have pretty good self-control, but whenever it comes to certain things, or if I'm off internally, you know, I can start falling back into old habits. And there's nothing like that you need to beat yourself up over. It's just one of those things that it happens. In minimalism, you get stuck. Sometimes you get stuck. You know, and I think that with that, growth is coming your way, because if you're really serious about minimalism and this is a true lifestyle that you want to live, and you're not following the trend of everybody else, it will come back to you again, and motivation will find itself. It may take you all the way back to where you first started, but there is some growth within that time period that you're, you know, complacent on finding passion and peace within. And you know, those are times that I really don't think that you should be decluttering items anyway, when you're not feeling it. So thing is, how can I spend my time growing? For me, I wanted to take better care of my body. I wanted to be more involved in my son's life. I wanted to hang out with my dogs more. I wanted to exercise. And all of this stuff was free. All of the things that I find value in are free. And you know, some of them are not. My car, I love my car. It's not, you know, a fancy car, but it's mine and I love it. And I enjoy driving, and it is what it is. There's things in life that you want to take care of, you want to find value in, and you want to spend your time with. You're going to get value out of it. So just kind of know what those are for you, and if maybe there's something that you're interested in doing, maybe write it down on a list, because you're going to have a lot of free time. Because you're going to make time instead of spending the whole weekend cleaning the house or whatever the case may be. You're going to have more time on your hands to maybe pick up a new craft. But be careful on selecting what craft or how obsessed you become in that craft, you know, because for my health thing, I can get carried away. There's many supplements and you know, workout things that I could purchase, but until I'm 100% serious, I'm not going to allow myself to get carried away. Little steps, little baby steps. And this kind of goes hand in hand with what I've said before. How can you love yourself? With loving yourself, you're finding peace. You're not feeling external things that are going to make you look a certain way, or create a feeling of happiness that is not real happiness, or a feeling of satisfaction that won't last very long. How do you love yourself with just you? If you had yourself in a room with no electronics, no distractions, what would be the things that you wish you could do? After getting rid of the twitch of reaching for an electronic, or you know, the things that distract you from real life. In nature, I find that I am most at peace and calm whenever I'm by myself and the weather's just right, and there's a certain time of day, you know, sunrise, sunset, or when there's a breeze and you can hear the birds chirping, or when it is lightning outside and the thunder's rolling. You know, that is the most peaceful time, where I can just have my emotions in my brain and just kind of sort that thing out and revisit my life and my body and my soul and where I want to be and how I can love myself. And if I don't like something about myself, then I need to find a way to accept it or change it. And I think loving yourself goes hand in hand with minimalism, and I think that must be done first or while you're working on this lifestyle. Now keep in mind, these are only my personal opinions. This is what I found helps me, and I hope that something that I say to you guys is helpful in some kind of way, even if it's not towards minimalism or something like that. But just know that you're not alone in these things, and that people struggle. People, lose themselves quite often, and it's hard to get back on track, especially with how fast the world is working these days. You don't have a lot of downtime to really look within, and I have to be able to do that to live a happy, healthy lifestyle. Therefore, I have to make time for myself. I have to be selfish sometimes, and it's okay. It's really okay. What kind of imprint do you want to leave on the earth? If you were at your own funeral, what would you wish that people were saying about you? How would you want to see your family grieve? Would you want them to be having to go through all of your stuff and remembering you that way, or being able to fully grieve, your life and celebrate it? With that, what would you want them to say? That's something that you would want to work towards in the real life and make it a reality. We don't know where this world's going to end up, but I want to make sure I can do myself to set myself up for success, not failure. It would be nice to have a cushiony savings account and be able to be okay if something were to happen. If somebody, in our family had to go to the hospital and we had bills to pay, I would want to be able to stay with that loved one in the hospital instead of having to go to work to pay the bill and not be there for that person. What kind of vibe, what kind of lifestyle are you wanting to set? This is kind of the fun part of it. If you are one of those people that don't like cluttered things, this is kind of the fun part. What vibe do you want your house to be set at, or yourself? You can kind of play around with that a little bit, and maybe you have a theme, maybe you don't have a theme. What vibe are you wanting to set out? Who are you internally, and how do you want to show yourself to the world? Just kind of take that in a little bit, think about that, and you can make that a reality. If you were visiting your house as a guest, what would you want to see? Like, what things would make you feel uncomfortable if you were going into somebody else's house? I've went as far as to walk outside, let my nose get not used to what my house smells like inside, and I would walk in as though I was really looking around at things and things that I've noticed that are like, I wouldn't want somebody seeing that, or I really like this piece and it's hidden away and I should really make that a centerpiece because it's something that I love and it's something that I want to show off to the world. So it's nice to kind of go through room by room and see what you would change and what you would make different. Now, some of this stuff costs money, and for me, I don't like to spend a lot of money. I like to be frugal, and I'll just work with what I've got. And you can find stuff at garage sales, on Craigslist. Just be careful when you go to purchase your items. Like, there's tons of great things that people make, that people, one man's trash is another person's treasure. Like, that is true. You can make something out of nothing, and it can become your most favorite piece in your whole entire house. It can make you feel like a sense of peace has come over you every time you look at that item. If it makes you kind of feel uneasy, or it screams at you, or it makes you angry, just pay attention to those feelings, and know that there is stuff in your house that's probably screaming out negatively to you, and it's just something that you have to dig in deep and really look within and see how it makes you feel. One thing that I found really helpful for me is to try to keep stuff off of the floor. It is so much easier to keep things clean. You know, if you can hang things or put them, like elevate them somehow, it's so much easier. It looks cleaner. You know, it looks more spacious. If you can find things that aren't attached to the floor. Now, there's some things that obviously you have attached, like tables and things like that, but if you have things like baskets and stuff like that, those are like the first things that I think, I don't want to keep that. You know, it's something that I have to move every time I want to vacuum or sweep or whatever. Like, it's just kind of in my way. And I found that taking stuff off of the floor, the majority of the things that I'm able to take off the floor, it's just so much easier to keep things clean and neat and tidy. And another helpful tip is to try to declutter your countertops. If you can declutter your countertops in your bathroom and in your kitchen, it's going to make your space look so much cleaner. Another tip is to make your bed every morning. Even if it's just kind of sloppily putting your sheets over top of your other sheets and you just put your pillows back in place, like, that's better than nothing. You're going to feel like the space is a lot more clean just by the bed being made, nothing else. This is something that really helped me in the beginning, is not touching anything, but going around with a notebook and noticing what things were taking up clutter. I noticed by the front and the back door, a lot of things were taking up clutter. There were shoes, there were keys, there were backpacks, there were all sorts of stuff by the front and back door. And how I eliminated some of that is a key rack, where you put your keys on top of a hanging thing, to where it's not on a table, or, you know, it has a specific spot for it. Those are the items, or those are the places that I find most helpful to kind of tackle. If there's clutter there, then it's probably, it just hasn't found its spot in your home yet. And that brings me to my next point. Go through your day-to-day routine and see what items you're picking up. Like, really pay attention. Like in the morning, I get up, first thing I do, take the dogs out to go to the bathroom. What do I need when I do that? I need some flip-flops or some kind of shoes to put on. I need their leashes, and we're good to go. The next thing I would do is get my morning coffee. What do I need there? I have my big coffee mug, my coffee, my sugar, and a spoon that I stir it all with. I use the microwave to warm up my water. So it's kind of like stuff like that, like day to day. What would you do next? Well, the next thing that I would do is go into the bathroom, brush my teeth, start getting ready for the day. Like, what all items do you need walking through your day-to-day life? And with that, writing it down, those are automatic keeps. Those are automatic, like, these are things that I use on a daily basis. These are things that I need to keep in my life. This is a huge one. Triggers. I've already talked about those, but this is shopping habits. It's so easy to swipe and spend and pay for it later. It really does help to carry around cash and see it leaving your hand, knowing that you're not going to have that back. So is what you're picking up or putting in your cart really worth it? Is it really worth your time? How much money per hour would you make to have to purchase that item? It really kind of puts things into perspective. It's good to keep it's good to keep kind of an eye on things and really pay attention to these things. I got so far to where now I've kind of gotten out of the habit, but I really like to get back in the habit, but making a list of anything that I need in the house. Am I out of something? Am I almost out of something that I need to replace? Like, there's nothing new that I absolutely have to have. What things am I going to need this next month that's going to have to get me by until the next month? Things that I use on a daily basis. Month by month, it's good to shop that way, or even day by day. Some people like to completely run out and then go repurchase. I like to repurchase when I'm almost out. Like, it'll get me like maybe through the rest of the week, and then throughout that week or throughout that month, I have time to purchase that item so I won't have to worry about it. What kind of mental clutter do you hang on to? Mental clutter is a part of my minimalism journey that is one of its own categories. I'm big about asking myself, what if? What if one day this happens and I need this? And what if one day my son's gonna need this? And that allows me to kind of hang on to things that I don't necessarily need. But the mental clutter is what ifs. It allows me to kind of be scared of life. Like, what if I get in my car, I drive down the driveway, and I get sideswiped? You know, my brain is kind of all over the place sometimes, and it constantly is thinking, what if, what if? For me, I have to play that out in my head. Like, what if that would happen? Well, this could happen. The worst case scenario is this could happen. Am I prepared for that? How would I have to pay my bills? Like, it's just kind of exhausting to really think about all the what ifs. So instead of constantly asking myself that, I have to really look within and say, what if it doesn't? What are the chances that it's not going to happen? You know, that is such a hard habit for me to break that it's not even funny. I constantly have to catch myself and try to backtrack, and just catching myself has helped. But hopefully with constantly doing that and getting into a new routine of throwing a positive what if in there to kind of back up the negative. Because there is always a positive and a negative. There always is. And finding the positive things that could come out of that negative situation might make your decisions different than what they would have been before. And then you might be making better decisions for your life and the love of your life, yourself, you know. What kind of feelings are you wanting to feel? Are you wanting to feel relaxed? Are you wanting to feel satisfied? Are you wanting to feel loved? There's many types of things that people want in this world. However, each person's different. Each person may want something different. What things are going to attribute to those feelings that you're wanting to have? Those would be my main priorities, my main goals as to what I want to experience in my life and how am I going to go about getting there. Even forcing yourself out of your comfort zone sometimes is always helpful. There's so much growth when you're doing that, or at least I found. And the most magical things come out of pushing myself out of my comfort zone. There's friendships, there's a certain type of love, there's certain types of connections that I've always wanted and that I've never really had before because I've blocked myself out. I've asked myself, what if? These are the type of feelings that I wanted, and I wanted to go after it. I was always too scared. Alright guys, so I've been talking for a while now, and I have run out of space. So I am going to end this video that is kind of all over the place. Anyways, I hope that you found value in it and that you know that you are very much loved by me if you're not feeling it today. May you find peace on your journey, and thank you so much for stopping by and just hanging out with me for a while. I really do appreciate it, and I look forward to seeing you guys very, very soon. Bye.